Hey guys, welcome back. I've got like I said, a little yearling stallion right here, and he's been in a pasture with several other horses, other yearling studs, and we had all studs that year, so we just picked this one that needed the most work. I want to talk to you a little bit about what we do with these horses before we ever start them. He won't be started or ridden for probably another 6 months, 8 months. And you know, we wait for their bones to get a little bigger, stronger, their joints. We do have these horses x-rayed just to see if they have any OCDs or any spurs or anything we need to know about before we stick a lot of time and money into them. And that helps us have an understanding about what we need to maintain health-wise on them. And so I'm going to talk to you and demonstrate what I would do with this little stud. My philosophy is a little different than some folks. I don't do a lot of pestering with these horses when they're foals. I let them try to grow up and be as natural as they can, run with their mothers. My wife actually does the halter starting on these, so this one's actually been halter started. He knows how to lead. We got him in here, we'll catch him. And we've never tied him. We feel like that tying comes a little bit later. We're getting pretty close to where we'd probably start tying him when his groundwork gets better. I see a lot of people that go to tying him before they ever lead him. I think that becomes a mistake. That's where you run into pulling back problems and all those kinds of things. So I'm going to go ahead and he's a little insecure, this colt. I'm going to go ahead and just push him around a little bit and show you some things that I would do with him. I want him to want to be caught here, so you know, I want to be able to get his eye. I want to be able to block him. I might just push him around here a little bit until I get his eye. What I mean by his eye, right? No, he took it away from me. And I'll use a square pin like this. These are just some cattle pins that we have here. And I might just kind of push that hip around here a little bit. You know, he's a little insecure here. So I'm just going to push him around here a little bit until I draw his eye. There it is right there. I'll take a little bit of time there just to connect to him. And when I walk into the pen with him, I'd like for him to at least acknowledge me. And so right here, his attention span's not going to be very long. You see him backing up here. If he takes off and runs away, that's okay. I'm going to come up here. I'm going to rub on him a little bit. You know, even at this age, that defensiveness and that testosterone, you know, starts to take over. So we've got to learn to manage that. We are going to castrate him. He's by a nice stallion and out of a pretty decent mare that we have. So I'll put that underneath his neck, and then I'll just cross this. I like to cross that right here, just in case if he was to run away, I could sure get his attention here. You see his eyes already moving away.
It's hard to watch your best friend.
Gonna squeal a little bit, that's normal. Go underneath here. I want to capture his nose with this halter here. This is a big thing I want to teach these colts. I want to make sure I want to bring that nose to me when I'm haltering him. I want to make sure that I can bring that nose to me right here. You know, a lot of people go ahead and put a halter on a horse, and they start putting a halter on a horse from over here, and then it gets to over here, and then you develop bridling problems. So I want to make sure that I use this halter as preparation for me to get my horse to accept the bridle. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. We've pushed him around a little bit. He doesn't know all the ground working exercises. We pushed him around a little bit here. I want to make sure that he has some softness here to him, some respect. He's pulling on me there a little bit. I want to have some things working for me here, just in case I need to go through his body and correct him. He's pulling on my hands there. Anytime he pulls on my hands, I want to go to his body. You see him crabbing right here. He's pulling on my hands. Instead of just jerking on his head, I'm going to go ahead and just push that body away, because once you start jerking on these colts' heads, they start to get defensive right away, and they'll carry that with them, even into the saddle. So on these babies, I want to make sure, like he's looking away right there, I want to make sure that that body softens up. I ask him through his body, don't get into a fight with that head. And it's all going to come through his body. That's better right there. So right here, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to just kind of rock him. You'll see me just break this loose here. I just want to get to where you can see. I'll just use this halter right here, and I'll just ask him. I'm not pushing down on him right here, but I'm just asking him just to release that neck. There's some small changes right there. That's nice. I'm not pushing down on his neck. I just want him just to be able to release this neck just a little bit. We're going to get prepared for him to accept a bridle. I won't put a bridle in his mouth or bit in his mouth for a long time. But I want to make sure that he can lower his head. I want to make sure that he can open his mouth. And there's a lot of things that you can do right here in getting preparation. There it is. There's a nice little change right there. And getting him to where he just wants to relax and give the pressure is a big thing. You can see his attention span's he's not going to stay hooked very long. That's normal on these young horses. It's like taking your child to kindergarten. You know, something's going to get their attention, but it's not going to be for very long. They're going to divert and go on to something else. So I'll just change it up a lot. There's some nice changes right there. I'll change it up a lot on this colt, which means I'll go on to something different, then I'll come back to it. Again, I'm not pushing down on him. I've just got my hand. You'll see him. There's a nice change. Now he's looking at me right here. Little things. You know, the ears are one of the last things I go to. I'm not going to go to the ears right off the bat. You see he's kind of shaking his head there a little bit. I want to make sure that he trusts me. We can lower his head. Right here's a good opportunity for me just to go ahead and just ask him. I'm just going to go ahead and just stick my finger in his mouth right there. That's just a simple little gesture. These horses have to learn how to be able to open their mouths to accept the bit. Again, he's not ready for a bit, but I'm getting him prepared for one day where he can accept that bit. There's a nice change. There we go. So he's getting a little bored, so I'm going to just kind of drive him around here a little bit. He's a little stiff right there. Just drive him around. Might change sides. Drive his rib cage. I'll ask him to come forward. There's a change. Atta boy. So I want to pick up this nose and just bring that front end. You can see him stepped across his front end there. My angles is going to dictate whether I'm going to bring his front end or his hind end. You'll see me right here. I'll lead him with this. You'll see that foot step. I'm going to get that foot to step forward. I'm waiting on that left front foot to step forward. There it is right there. That's nice. Now I'm going to wait on his hind end to step around. He's a little stiff right here. I just wait on him. I barely got any pressure on this rein. If not, hardly any at all. You can see he's pulling on me right here, just a little bit. There's a change. There's a change. Right here at this particular stage is where I want to teach him not to resist, but teach him how to be able to relax and give the pressure. Started using it years ago, and I like to be able to use this instead of a halter. I'll ride him in a halter for the first day or so, first ride, and then I like to be able to put this on. And the reason why I like this is because it has a separation right here, underneath here, rather than just a traditional Hackamore. This separation here distinguishes the pressure on the nose and the direct pressure on the nose. So as a difference to this, it comes to one point right here, and it pulls in different parts of the horse's head. Sometimes it can be confusing. So for this, I had a little bit more direct pressure on the parts of the nose that I want to turn. Hope that made sense to you. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this on him. So right there, I've got this little Lopen Hackamore on him. Got set about where I want it. I want to make sure that nothing's pinching him. Okay, I'm going to go ahead. I'm just going to go ahead and move his feet with this. I get back in here where I'd be riding him. That's my angles right here. So I'm just going to go ahead and move his feet. I'm going to move his hind foot first because that's the easiest for me to move. I just hold this right here. I never pull on that. I just hold it until his feet connects to this, till his feet releases to this pressure. There we go. If I was to teach him to flex right now and just flex without his feet being involved, then all he will do is flex. He won't coordinate his feet to be tied to the rein. I have made that mistake before. Later on I can flex them, but he has to understand this young, see right there he got me up against the fence, I'm going to wait for him. This young, he has to understand that his feet have to be in coordination to that rein. So he's really stiff. He's not really stiff. He's not bending his rib cage on this side or bending his neck. So I'm going to stay with him until I get a little bit more bend. I'm not pulling on him. I'll bring this back over. And I'm just staying right here behind his shoulder. All I'm waiting for is that rib cage to soften up and his neck to soften up. There it is right there. Perfect. And I just walk away from it. I never get frustrated. I just want to stay with him until I get him to realize, and that's exactly what I want. So on the left, he turns around with a lot of flex. On the right, he's turning, but nothing to do with any flexion. So my flexion is more than the neck. My flexion has to do with the body.
Thanks for watching America's most important network.
I don't want him to ever feel like he's threatened in any way. So I'm gonna wait on him right here, wait on him right here, and wait on him right here. Wait, there it is right there. Again, I just have it here. If he pulls on me, there's pressure. If he doesn't, there's softness. See? If he pulls on me, there's pressure. If it doesn't, there's softness. So that's it. He's already doing it right there. Perfect. Perfect. Just that little change right there sure makes a big difference. So that's my flexion. That's my flexion, because the first time I ride him, when I pick up that rein, I get his rib cage, his shoulders, his neck, his feet. Go back to, oh, very nice. You see a lot more flex right there through the body. I barely touch that. I get a couple of steps right there. Come back over here, a couple steps, and I'm just gonna barely touch that. There we go. Now watch this here. Now my angles are gonna be a little bit different. I'm just gonna get him to lower his head. So my angles, watch what's gonna happen here. Watch here. As he gets to looking for this, I want you to see this because this is important. I barely have any pressure, just enough for him to search. See, he's searching. Watch him search. Watch him search for this. Just have a barely enough, but my pressure is a little more down. I want you to look. I want you to watch. I want you to let, there it is right there. Just that little bit to where he starts to saying, oh, barely watch. There it is. I just leave him alone. So, Come back up here, we'll find this again. Just put a little bit of pressure right here. Just a little bit, want to keep his head straight. Just a little bit, just to get him where he's, I don't want him to twist, I don't want him to twist. I don't hardly have any pressure there. When you think about this, he's thinking about turning. Think about it, think about it. Think about it. Now, I wouldn't work on these refinements if he wouldn't stand still. There it is right there. That's a little pole pressure. Just a little give of that pole. There it is. Barely put any pressure on there. He remembered that. He remembered that direct pressure to come right here and give his pole, give his neck some good changes. Come back over here. Nice, look at that bend. Nice, nice. It just bent right around and gave his body, gave his head. It's a good change. Come on this side. I'll go further back. Go further back here. Wait on that bend. Wait on that bend. I just stay with it. I'm not pulling on him. Just want to bend him through the rib cage. My angle, right there it is. Good job. One of the things too is that, you know, when you're working with these young horses, emotionally, you've got to be stable emotionally. I see people that get really too high and excited about them doing something well. And then those are the same people that get really frustrated and disappointed and get down when they don't do something that they want. So you've got to be really consistent. And your emotions are going to feed over into these colts' emotions. And being a leader, accepting improvement, accepting small changes, but don't get disappointed, don't get frustrated when you've got to stay in there with them a little bit to help them with the change. There, that's some nice softness. There's some nice, got a nice back. That's what we're looking for. Really good. I think boredom, to me, not having something and having a structure for these horses, these young horses, boredom actually creates a lot of habits, a lot of bad habits. And so have a plan when you go in to work with your horse, adjust to your plan, but you know, short little sessions like this go a long way. Remember that this isn't just for a weanling or yearling. It could be for your horse. If your horse doesn't do these exercises, maybe it's time that you need to back up and get these horses to relax and be soft and understand what a release of pressure means for relaxation. So that's all I've been helping him here with is the release and the give is a part of the relaxation of the body and the mind. And those horses will accept that a lot more. I work on this every day with my horses that I've been riding, whether I've been riding them a month or I've been riding them for years. The same principles apply. So all we're trying to do is just help him be successful and setting his mindset up, his personality, his attitude to where he wants to give, he wants to soften, he wants to relax, and he feels comfortable around your presence. And if you ever send him off to a trainer or you ever started him yourself, that you're going to be so much further ahead because of these exercises that you did. But if you pick at them and you get them where they're sour and you do too much with them, those horses will become defiant. So we want them to have a clean, fresh mind. We want them to be into what we're doing. Relaxation is the key. So hope this helps. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week right here on Chris Cox Horsemanship.